Winter 2015 might have one of the strongest anime lineups I have ever seen. There are a lot of great shows to check out this season, some of which are still returning from 2014, but all of the new shows that have just started in the last week have completely blown me away. But my favorite show that I've seen so far is Death Parade. I am completely enamored by this show. The overall concept, the animation, the character designs, and that infectiously badass opening, which is just so good to look at, and the music is so catchy you just want to get up and dance to it. It's a pretty great show. And what I really love about Death Parade the most is how original it is. It's an original anime concept. It is based on an anime short called Death Billiards, and I actually just checked that out for the first time. Before I did my review of Death Parade, I actually did a little bit of research just to see what the show was about, and learned that's when it was based on Death Billiards, which was basically a 30-minute movie, which was pretty much the pilot for Death Parade. It's basically another episode of the series, and that's why I really enjoyed this episode a lot. And when I released my first review, you guys suggested that I should check it out, and I did, and it's awesome. If you just simply cannot wait for the next episode of Death Parade and you have not seen Death Billiards, watch it, because it's basically another episode, and it's very similar to the first episode of Death Parade, but I'm very glad that I decided to watch it afterwards, because there was just so much more mystery in Death Parade, and as soon as the episode started up, I already had a pretty good idea of like where things were heading and how things were going to work. Despite that, the episode still manages to have some twists and turns, especially at the very end of the episode, and there's still a lot of ambiguity to what the characters' motives are and what they're doing, especially when you get to see what happens when these two characters are sent to heaven or hell. The circumstances behind it are just as crazy as the first episode of Death Parade. And I also love the fact that they focused on the side character, who is that one black-haired woman, who still, I know nothing about her. And that's the one thing I'm really interested to learn about in Death Parade, is just getting to learn about the structure of Queen Deckham, how it works, how all of these people who reside there like actually work there. Are they actually living people at all? This episode right here, Death Billiards, suggests that Deckham himself might not even be a living being. He might be some sort of like odd construction of like some weird, just benevolent being. It's so ridiculous. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. But this episode right here is very similar to Death Parade, where two people come in, it's an old man and this one young hotshot, and they're going to have to play a game of pool, Death Pool. And it's going to be very similar to the dart game, where actually the pool balls, they actually have these organs and body parts from them like attached to them. You can see them, and it's very similar to that game where if you like actually pocket one of them, they'll actually feel that pain. So like the one young hotshot gets like his eye hit, and he actually can't see anymore. He's all blurred. And at first it actually seems like the young guy's just going to walk all over him, like he's just going to win immediately. But this old guy just happens to be a pool ace. He's an old pool champion. And what I also really love is how it just starts out so casual, just playing a game of pool, and as the episode is going on, it quickly escalates. And just like the first episode of Death Parade, they show you the entire life story of these characters. They show you everything you need to know through animation and through imagery, and that is how you tell a story with this medium. You get to learn just through the imagery from this old man that he grew up as a World War II survivor, he eventually grew up to be a pool champion, and he was something of like a Japanese delinquent punk. At least that's what was shown actually in his backstory, and that might actually have repercussions on the end of this episode, which is still left fairly ambiguous. I'm not really sure how to take it. But eventually things do escalate and they actually start to fight against each other. The young guy's getting really pissed off, and this old guy's a badass. There's this scene where they're literally fighting with their pool sticks and this like lightsabers. It's ridiculous. And this old man is like a martial artist. He's like breaking them and everything. It's really badass. And then eventually he gets knocked into this massive fish tank, and the young guy actually thinks he kills him. And again, this is why I liked watching Death Parade first, because I didn't even know they were dead at first in that episode. Going into this one, I knew these guys were dead as soon as they walked in. And then, after the game is over, that's it. Old man gets up, and that's pretty much the episode right there. They're getting ready to decide if they're going to go to heaven or hell. However, they're not getting the answer about how that's going to go down. And this young guy is eventually tied up with all of those wires from Deckham. And as he's getting ready to leave, he has this amazing emotional outburst about like the equalness and unequalness of humans, and it actually gets through to Deckham. and he goes over to him and he embraces him, and it's a really heartbreaking and very sad scene. And the final shot is of these two characters getting into the elevators, and it looks like the old man is going to hell and the young guy is actually going to heaven. And a lot of this does have to do with the fact that the young guy's backstory is very disturbing, because he was actually murdered by his girlfriend who was having an affair, which they slowly hint at the beginning of the episode, and then they drop that on you at the very end. And what's really weird too is the old man actually walks up to Deckham before they leave and he whispers something to him, which they never reveal what that is, because, you know, that's just up for interpretation. Although I like that, because I like to hear what other people have to say about it. But as the elevator doors are closing, the old man has this smirk on his face, and I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if, like, he's like, I won, I tricked you guys, am I going to heaven, am I going to hell? If you look at the masks that are actually above the elevators, that's maybe a hint, because one's a demon and one's an angel, and it's so weird and ambiguous, and I don't know what to make of it. And even Deckham's assistant, the black-haired woman, doesn't even really know what's going on, and she doesn't even ultimately know where they're going. And Deckham's keeping quiet about everything. And that's Death Billiards, and it's amazing. It's just another episode of Death Parade, and I'm glad I got to check it out. And like I said, I'm glad I saw it afterwards, because I knew they were dead when they walked in and everything, but still, it's amazing how they can show you these two characters who you've never seen before, and you actually get invested in their story in the span of 30 minutes. I don't think they're going to do that in every episode of Death Parade. I don't literally think it's just going to open... Every episode's going to open up with two people walking through elevator doors, and that's what's going to happen. I think they do need to explain a little bit more about how this place works. Obviously, if you've seen the intro of Death Parade, there's a lot of patrons and people who actually work at the Queen Deckham, so we have to learn a little bit more about their backstories and, like, how this whole place functions. I'm so excited to learn about all of that. All I know is, thank you guys for telling me about Death Billiards, because it was freaking awesome! As for the other shows this season, I'm pretty much enjoying all of them, just about on equal footing. It was really great to see Tokyo Ghoul come back. Route A, the first episode, was really exciting, really badass. If you saw the first season, you need to watch this one. It's just great, and it's just going to end and your jaw's going to be on the floor. JoJo coming back is fantastic because it's the manliest anime series of all time, and it's one that really caught my attention last year when I was watching it, because I liked the first season of JoJo, but it didn't really, like, blow me away. But Stardust Crusaders, I love the whole atmosphere, I love the character designs, I love the 80s setting, and I just love the ridiculous powers, and I love all the references to horror films. It's just a really fun, over-the-top, violent, action-packed filled show that's just... You need to see it. If you're not watching Stardust Crusaders, I don't know what's wrong with you. Assassination Classroom is also one that has really caught me by surprise. It's based on a manga series that's been around for a while, and I've, of course, seen the imagery of Koro-sensei all over the place. I just never really knew anything about the story or what the hell was actually going on, and it's just ridiculous. I don't even want to try and explain the premise to you. It's, you know, it's just, you gotta see it for yourself. It's an action comedy show about a teacher octopus who is teaching students to kill him before he will destroy the world. That's literally the story, guys. That's literally what's going on. Check it out. It is awesome. And of course there is Death Parade, which I've already said is just amazing. There's also the second season of Durarara, which is what I'm looking at right now. I'm still trying to catch up again on the first season. I haven't really watched Durarara since, like, its very first run years ago, so I need to actually catch up on some things, and it still amazes me that all these years later they decided to go ahead and just do a second season, and it just immediately feels natural, and it feels like just a good progression of the series. And other than that, there's still a lot of other shows that I'm watching. One of the big suggestions from you guys was this show called Nanatsu no Taizai, which is called The Seven Deadly Sins. I'm currently 5 episodes in right now. I'm watching it with a group of friends. I'm watching so many other things right now, and I'm busy with a lot of other things. It's called Life. Yeah, shit happens. And, you know, it's just, I just don't have time to review all those shows. I will say, though, that if eventually I do catch up to The Seven Deadly Sins, maybe I will start doing, like, weekly reviews of it. But I can't promise anything. And I'm still trying to catch up on all of the Fate Stay anime series. I'm just not caught up on that stuff quite yet, but I'm actually kind of glad that the new series that just finished up, I think it's Unlimited Blade Works, it just finished up, so this gives me like an opportunity to catch up before the next season begins, because I absolutely promise I will start reviewing the next season. And aside from that, we still have all of our other side projects that we're working on. We're putting finishing touches on the next Naruto Shippuden review, and we're already immediately working on the next one. We have a few other movie reviews we're working on, my next Bleach movie review, and a few other Dragon Ball Z side projects are coming up, and even some more Naruto videos. So stay tuned for all of that. We have so much more content coming your way, guys. And it's going to be a really crazy 2015. I'm really excited for it. I think this is going to be a really good time to be an anime fan, just for all the brand new shows that are just really awesome and creative. And who knows what the fall season is going to bring us. But for the time being, let's savor the icy winter. It is pretty freaking awesome. So thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you guys have checked out Death Billiards, please tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Are you a big fan of Death Parade? Are there any other shows that you're looking forward to seeing this winter 2015? Do you have a favorite new show? Please tell me in the comments section. And remember, you guys can subscribe to our channel by clicking on the channel icon right up here. It's really easy. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter.